In Tanzania, the traditional greeting at any church service or any meeting is Bwana Asifiwe, which means praise the Lord. So, and the response to that is Amina, Amen. Okay, can we try that? Bwana Asifiwe. Fantastic. Homer, you're on your way to Tanzania. So, I am a mission partner with Church Mission Society, and I started serving full-time in Tanzania in 2016, and this is what CMS, Church Mission Society, says I do. It's true. And just to get some bearings, I'm based in Musoma, which is northwest Tanzania. We're on the eastern shore of Lake Victoria, and 2 degrees south of the equator, so significantly warmer than here. And we're not far from the Serengeti, so a very nice place to be. That's my house, very close to Lake Victoria. And our project it's called the Rehema Project, and we have the tagline of the voice of the voiceless. And it was originally started by two Australian missionaries who were driven by 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 14, which says, "For Christ's love compels us." And we have 2 income generating enterprises. We have a cafe and a workshop and craft shop that sells crafts on site. I've got a whole case full for you to inspect and purchase later, hopefully. And the idea behind this is that it's a women's empowerment program. We're empowering women. We enabling them to work, and so it's a hand up rather than a hand out. But in conjunction with that, we also have an assistance program. So the idea is that the profits from the enterprises will go to an assistance program which helps women and children in need for whatever reason. This is a picture of the team. And in what I've just discussed has been my remit since 2016, but this year I've acquired some new responsibilities at the behest of our bishop, and I felt it would be the right thing to do as he asked. So next door to our shop and cafe, there's a hostel, which is a place where there's a restaurant that sells Tanzanian food. There's accommodation, about 12 rooms, and there's a hall for hire as well. And we've taken on that responsibility, which has added at least 3 hours a day to my working day, which I wasn't bargaining on, but there you go. And since then, we've also started doing a lot more catering assignments, so off-site assignments. This is actually at the cafe, lovely 50-seater outdoor cafe. It was originally set up for visitors, tourists. We're not exactly on the tourist route, but expats come and go, and we offer a sort of more international style of menu than the neighboring hostel. There's one group in particular, and they say we shouldn't put our eggs all in one basket, but when they are all in one basket, you just have to make the most of it. So there's a British charity called Go Make a Difference in Tanzania, and they bring groups of volunteers out to Tanzania, to Musoma. They live on the same compound as me, and they come and do a lot of work that helps local communities, particularly from the end of June until the end of August. So British summertime. 50 volunteers a week arrive, and they eat with us 4 times a week. They buy from our shop, and it's part of the cultural experience that they'll go to the market, buy some colorful fabric, and have some clothes made by our seamstresses. So this is a group from Northern Ireland enjoying their lunch. But equally, we have visitors, local visitors. This is some of the diocesan staff. What do you think they're drinking? What smoothie? Oh, right, avocado smoothie, yes. It's a meal in itself. This is our bishop on the left-hand side, Bishop George and his wife. And as I mentioned, we do bespoke tailoring. We've got the shop, and the volunteers love getting clothes made, and then they love to model their wares afterwards. It's a group of lads from one of the schools here, and the girls. This was the order of the year: long skirts. And this picture was taken up. There's a big rock behind where we live, and you can watch the sunset over Lake Victoria, so it's pretty special. Catering services, as I mentioned, as our responsibilities have increased, we've been able to employ. We've got an existing group of people. We haven't taken on anybody new, but we've been able to give women more work, more days a week, more hours a day, which is very encouraging. And the women they're not all Anglican. We work under the Anglican diocese, but they are all Christian, and it's important to pray before everything, and including food service. This is an event we catered for with 320 guests. And this year we were privileged enough to be invited to cook for a very important guest who was the former president of Tanzania, J.K. Kikwete. And it was an off-site event, so we had to travel to Bunda, which is about an hour away, with all of our pots and pans and plates and knives and forks, everything. And it was quite something. The organization from the government said we weren't allowed to. It was a fundraiser to raise funds for a church. But we weren't allowed to have the service in the church because the government said it wasn't fit for purpose, which they did have a bit of a point, actually. So, and we were going to eat at the diocesan girls' school, but they said the roads weren't good enough for the president to travel along, so they allowed us to use their teachers' training college. So it was like we were uplifted from the cafe and put in the teachers' training college, and then we had at least 3 government officials monitoring our every move the whole time we were cooking. It was quite a feat, but the president loved our food, and we got a vote of confidence from him, and some of the staff got to pose for a photograph with him, which was very special for them. We also have a nursery school, which we started some years ago. The Swahili word for nursery school is chekechea, and it's in the village of Nyambeshi, which is about 40 minutes away from where we are based. We sponsor through our assistance program. We sponsor the teacher's wage, her transport allowance, and subsidized school fees for the children, daily porridge for the children, and currently there's 38 children in one class. But here's a picture of some of the children. and the school's under the Anglican Church as well, so just the local village church. And children of all faiths or none do attend the school, but they are obliged to follow the Anglican sort of syllabus. So I've mentioned our assistance program. So just to give you an idea of the kind of assistance we do, often it's medical assistance because there's nothing like the NHS there. So everything needs to be paid for, and it's usually an immediate need or an emergency. We do help with food parcels or when there's a need. More and more through the years, we've got involved in sponsoring mainly young girls, but children in vocational training in school and in college. We've undertaken some quite ambitious building projects, and funeral costs is also a big expense because that's obviously a very immediate need. There's some pictures of people we've helped over the years. And the lady on your left, in front of the tank with her two boys, her name is Nema, and she sent me a message after we helped her. She was pregnant with the child on her lap when her husband died, and life became very difficult for her because she suddenly became the sole breadwinner. And Nema means grace, that's her name, and Kwanema ya Mungu means by the grace of God. And she said, Rehema brings huge assistance to my life and the life of my children. It is by the grace of God that we met, and I know the project. Rehema is like the husband of widows and the father of orphans. Project is like my husband, the father of my children, and also my mother. Isn't that a lovely review? I reckon it's 5 stars on TripAdvisor. The lady on the right hand side, her name is Happiness, and she's 45 years old. She's got 5 boys, and they've never had running water at their house, and they didn't have wash facilities. So this year we managed to build a toilet and a washroom, and also got her connected to the municipal supply of water, which has improved their access to good clean water, and consequently has improved their health as well. This young lad, his name's Kenneth. He was named after my father. And last year, when I was in the UK, he fell over and broke his arm in 2 places. And he received medical treatment, but the arm never healed properly. And I saw his mum, and I noticed that he was like holding his arm like he was protecting it always. He was right-handed and he used his right hand, but he protected the left arm all the time. He'd never use it. And I asked his mum like why he was doing that, and she said, oh, the arm never healed properly, and it hurts. It still hurts. This was 8 months later. And so I said, Anna, you really need to get medical treatment for him. Go to a doctor, get some advice, because if he continues to protect his arm and not use it, it's going to lead to other problems later on in life. So she did. The doctor saw the problem was around the elbow, and he had this 2.5-hour operation to fix his arm and his elbow. And God is king. God, in all my experience in the work I'm doing in Tanzania, God is just such an incredible provider. So you turn to him in prayer, and he answers time and time again. He provides the answers. He provides the solutions, and it's such an incredible environment to be in, honestly. And this is Mariam. She's a young girl, the girl in the green and yellow. That's her sister behind her, and their grandmother sings in the cathedral choir, which is next to where our cafe is. And when the grandmother comes to do choir practice, then the girls come and hang out at the cafe, and I give them paper and crayons, and they draw pictures. And our cook came to me one day, and she said, "This Mariam, is she sick?" And I said, "I don't know, Maudie, but I don't think so. I think she's fine." And Maudie herself is HIV positive, HIV/AIDS, and she said to me, "I'm sure this girl has either got HIV/AIDS or she's got sickle cell anemia." I said, "Well, I don't know. We best speak to her grandmother." So after choir practice, the grandmother came along to collect the girls, and we spoke to her, and she said, yes, she does have sickle cell anemia, but I don't have the money to take her to the hospital, and she hasn't been for treatment for at least 7 months. Now, the grandmother had 2 daughters, and within 6 months of both daughters died, and the grandmother suddenly became sole custodian of 5 grandchildren. So life is extremely difficult for her, and she just can't she can't even afford the transport to get to the hospital to get the treatment that Mariam needs. And I mean, this is why our assistance program exists, to help people like Mariam, because with sickle cell anemia, it's very treatable as long as you taking your medications and seeing the doctor. So it was with great relief for the grandmother and great joy for us to be able to help Mariam. But that just gives you a little bit of a picture of like the kind of help that we do and what we try and do to assist people in difficult circumstances. I mentioned that we've sponsored many girls. In particular, I like to send girls to our vocational sewing school, which is run by the Girls Brigade in Bunda, and there they've given sort of enhanced Christian education as well as sewing and hairdressing these days as well. And the girl that we're sponsoring, one of the girls we're sponsoring this year, she comes from a Muslim background, and in April she gave her life to Christ. Now this is something that I've always, like the bishop has always told me, that we shouldn't help girls or people from different backgrounds. We should concentrate on helping Anglicans. Anglican aid for Anglicans. And I said, sorry, Bishop, but I disagree, because what greater testimony is there if you help somebody who isn't your own faith? And this young girl is a living testimony of that. So he does now agree with me. Yeah, and all of the women who work for Rehema, a few never went to school and were completely illiterate. Most of them are educated primary level only, and there's a couple that are educated beyond that. But what we're seeing now is that their children are getting greater opportunities than they ever had in their lives, and for example, going to college or going to university. And one of our workshop supervisor, her daughter is studying accountancy at university. Flora doesn't even fully understand what she's studying, but she's having to provide for her. So it's a real opportunity, but a real difficult time. for everybody as well, because you know how expensive it is to send somebody to university. Okay, so that's a little snapshot of my life in Tanzania, and I feel really honored and privileged to be able to share with you today. So thank you very much.